Welcome to the squad. He's Icewater. I'm Puma. Do us a solid. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel. We're going to be talking about college football. The playoffs are here. We're going to be talking about the NFL playoffs that are about to start in a few. Also, the NBA and college basketball. Depending on how much time we have, what's on your mind, son, and of course, our last second shots. Hey, man, I'm excited about college football. Now we get to the nitty gritty of the teams that we see that are going to be doing some damage in the playoffs. You got Ohio State playing Miami. You have Ole Miss playing Georgia, Oregon playing Texas Tech, and Indiana playing Alabama. That's a game that I really, really want to see if Alabama is going to stand up to the challenge. Your thoughts on the playoffs, man?
A lot going on. It makes you nervous, and at the same time, you get excited, right?
Yeah.
Because it can be one and done, and this is it. So everybody has these serious predictions that they want to make, or everybody has these synopsis that they're going to give you. But at the end of the day, teams just have to come out and play. As you said, I'm really intrigued by watching Indiana face Alabama. Indiana is number one after beating Ohio State in the Big Ten championship. But the question that I have, not saying that they can't, Indiana showed a lot of toughness and a lot of mettle beating Ohio State. But Alabama, of course, old SEC team, they had that the ability to win the way they came back and win that last game. So my question is Indiana going to be up to the challenge to take on that top spot and handle it well?
I know for me, I just want to watch some good football games at this particular point. The first round, it was like, no, you're going to see some blowouts and not really kind of tuned in and locked into it. Now it's like, here we come to the nitty gritty. Here we come to any one of these teams can make a run and get to a natty. I just want to see some good football. I picked Ohio State to win it all. If they don't, I'm not going to be too sad about it because you have some good teams in the country, and they won it last year. But I'm just looking to see some great, great college football. It's the end of the season. I'm not really locked into the other bowl games that are happening around surrounding this. I know the bowl game started today, but I'm really just looking forward to great college elite football on this level at this particular point.
Yeah, I think with these matchups, as mentioned earlier, there are going to be some key matchups. Like I said, Alabama, Indiana is really going to be good. Ole Miss, Oregon. I mean, Ole Miss, I'm sorry, Ole Miss, Georgia. Because you want to see, is Ole Miss still going to play up to the level when Lane Kiffin leaving for LSU? Even though people try to act like, oh, it's not really going to matter. Some people just don't like Lane Kiffin. I think it's going to matter. I do. I think they're not going to be the same team. I think it's going to matter. And they might fool me. And Georgia's playing lights out right now.
Yeah.
So I think that it's going to matter. In regards to Oregon, Texas Tech, I think it's going to be a shootout. Texas Tech has been trying to prove themselves all year long by the way they've been winning and not losing a lot of games. And Oregon's looking for redemption because now it's like we got in, we fell down, we lost to Indiana, right? And now we want to get some redemption and show that we're back after barely escaping in the first round. So I think they're ready there. And then, of course, you have Miami, Ohio State. And when you look at it on paper, you know that Miami always has athletes and they always come together. But then when you look at their last game and they won by scoring 10 points. And of course, they have a strong defensive front that everybody's saying now. It's kind of funny. One team, like for instance, when Ohio State lost to Michigan last year, their team had a strong defensive front. And they were kind of one of the top defenses in the country as far as stopping the run and things like that. And then, of course, now everybody's looking at Miami to go, well, they got a strong defensive front and they're going to shut Ohio State down. Similar to what people said about Tennessee last year.
Yeah.
They got a strong defensive front. They're going to shut Ohio State down. But I just find that ironic. It's like I like for some of the media to have some uniqueness. Granted, even though the factor is, like you point to Miami having a strong defensive front and being able to stop people and holding their opponent to 3 points, they only scored 10. And then on the flip side, you look at what Ohio State normally does. They hold you to about 8 to 10, maybe 10 points. If you
Hmm.
get 13, you're lucky. So what we're talking about too, if you look at it that way, you would almost say that both defenses kind of exit each other out. But then again, the question is what happens from the offense, and it's a lot of questions. But just to hear that same old song where people just frustrated by a team that's successful, looking for things to bring them down, just let them play the game. But I think we need to have a little bit more. Those fans deserve a little bit more better analysis, if you will.
All right, looking forward to that. Let's stay with college football with Michigan. The Wolverines have their new man, Kyle Whittingham, former coach of Utah, University of Utah. And he was there for a long time, decided to retire. He said there were only 5 teams that he would come out of retirement for, and Michigan was the one. And I think looking at this, they probably need that calming force right now because they've come out of 2 scandals with the last 2 coaches. And he's a steady kind of coach who can kind of steady the ship a little bit. And also, he comes in with a high flying offense. Your thoughts on this, man?
Yeah, I'm gonna say this. I think they got lucky as hell, bro. Michigan got lucky, bro. Because you think about all the coaches that they went after, high-end coaches, they had everybody right there on their list, and they were unfortunately they were not able to grab some of those top coaches. They kind of listened or whatever, and they just moved on. A lot of coaches used that in the Penn State job to get extensions,
Yeah.
right, or move somewhere else. So all the drama that was going on in Michigan, it was very difficult to see how they were going to be able to get somebody of this caliber
This so
and say what you, yeah, yeah, this late, yeah, this late in the game because I think if I'm not mistaken that recruiting start like 2 days.
yeah.
So signing, so yeah, signings start in 2 days. But you mentioned about winning him. The one thing that he has done at Utah, his wide open offense, been there what 32 years, was head coach for like 20 plus, comes under that tree under Urban Meyer while it's wide open, and players are gonna want to be there. And he's really hasn't heard you haven't heard anything about him about getting in trouble. He's just like he wants to get people in line and play football. And to go from like Utah to a place like Michigan with dollars and cents and things like that, similar to how Urban Meyer moved when he was at Bowling Green, then he went to Utah, then he went to Florida, then he's at Ohio State. You can just tell the difference night and day, I'm sure, in the amount of but the budget in the athletic departments from Utah to Michigan, which I think at this point, even though the coach is a little up in age, it was an offer he couldn't refuse. Because you think about it this way, even if he is a stopgap for no more than 5 years, that gives him enough time to kind of maybe show what he's capable of, and then maybe you make a move to get somebody else to come in there and then take a ride with them for the next 10, 15 years. But as you said, I think he's a perfect stopgap for what they need to turn this thing around and at least try to play some decent football.
I'm interested in seeing if he's going to unleash that offense on the Big Ten because usually the Big Ten is 3 yards in a cloud of dust. And it used to be known as that. But I want to see some high flying offense in the Big Ten to see if teams can really hang. And it has that reputation, but he can bring some real renewed energy to the Big Ten. If he unleashes an offense and other teams have to catch up with it, it's going to be amazing to watch. Let's go to the NFL, and we're at the last week of the NFL, and these games are getting stranger and stranger as we watch along with the NFL. Now, last week I picked Cleveland to beat the Steelers. And I had just had a feeling that they would beat the Steelers because it's a rivalry game and they were playing in Cleveland. And, it just seems like Pittsburgh is running into that 9-8 record that I said earlier. And they have to play Baltimore this week for the division. And all I thought Baltimore was out. Marmar's been down. They've been, just not stable all year. And here they have in the last week of the season have a chance to win that division. And it's winner take all. One of them might get in. The Steelers, who I call the Simps of the NFL, may not even get that kiss goodnight, bro. NFL news. I'm gonna turn
No,
it.
you're absolutely right. There's no way that I really thought that Baltimore was going to have a chance. And Cleveland, I just asked one question. Stefanski and all the other folks over there, stop tricking this, bruh. Stop trying to sabotage. Even when you sabotage it, they find ways to win. I'm talking about Shador Sanders. He hasn't played his greatest plays, but still they just seem like they're on the way for sabotage, and they still found a way to win. But there were so many other things that just didn't make sense and scared the hell out of me. Houston, I don't know how they're doing it. I don't know how they're doing it. I do know how they're doing it with defense, but I'm kind of surprised by the way that they are doing it. I was impressed by them. Got to give it up to them Saints.
Yeah,
Them Saints. I said, are they going to get me again? I pick them, and I'm like, every time I don't pick them, they find a way to come back. And I'm looking at the TV like, are y'all serious? And they came back. So kudos to them. Kudos to the Giants, though. I told you, I'm gonna get off this real quick. I'm gonna say this. I watched the Raiders, man. I watched still too for deal. Like I said, I have not been able to really pick the Raiders or go or really root for the Raiders ever since I watched the game. I think when they played Jacksonville.
yeah, I remember that.
And they had that game one and they tried to go for two. You're like, oh my
Yeah,
God.
that was a nightmare. That
It was. When I saw that, I was like, yeah, they're done. So that's why I chose the Giants. But truthfully, as we mentioned earlier, I know we'll talk about it later too. You mentioned about 49ers and their lack of defense
yeah,
right now at this
they
point.
really over the years, and I've been saying this for years that I felt that their Achilles heel were their defense because I'm like, there's no
Mhm.
way Chicago's offense is this good. They probably
Yeah.
scored the most points they scored all year. And it was like guys were wide open. So like the 49ers were playing the zone. I don't know what the defensive coordinators, I didn't know what his plan was. You didn't see his plan throughout the whole game. It's like, okay, they're running the ball and they're getting like 7, 8 yards a rip. What are you doing? And so what I learned from the game last night, when I saw the game, because I turned it off at 35-35 because it reminded me I might as well play Xbox at this particular point. There's no defense. But what I really learned from that game is that the San Francisco 49ers haven't fixed their problems on defense. And this was a couple of years ago when they were in the Super Bowl, they had problems with defense. And I kept saying over the years, they can't be stopped offensively. You can't stop Purdy in that offense when they get rolling. But
Mhm.
defensively, if you're not able to stop teams, then you're not going to win. You're going to find yourself maybe in the Super Bowl, but you can't defend to really actually get the trophy. So that's my only concern with the San Francisco 49ers. Hopefully they can remedy it. But Purdy is 6-0 at this particular point, and he's hot. I mean, I guess 2 games that he's been back, 5 touchdowns. I mean, that's wow.
Yeah.
I mean, he's slinging that rock. And he was making that defense look like, we can score on you anytime we want. It doesn't matter whether or not you get the league or whatever. We got this. The confidence that offense has is incredible. The Giants and the Raiders, I think I watched a little bit of that game, and I kept waiting for the Raiders to come back because the Giants have been losing leads all year. But the game that really surprised me, that the Bills, I sometimes I sit down and try to think, are these coaches using analytics or are they going with the feeling of the game, where the Bills and the Eagles were down, and instead of just kicking a field goal, you're going to go for two when it's not in the cards that you should go for two. And I know your kicker has been missing, but if you miss, you lose. At least if you kick the kick, you tie the game, you don't lose, you have some more time to come back. So sometimes some of these coaches that are making these decisions at in the games really just kind of like make you scratch your head. Or there was a game where I text you, I forget the game, where I'm like, well, why didn't they go for two? Yeah, why didn't they go for two at this particular point? Because they're still going to be down by a touchdown whether or not they get the two. But if they get the two, they'll be in field goal range, or they can get a field goal attempt. But they're still going to have to score again. So it just boggles my mind sometimes, some of these decisions that these coaches are making in these crucial times, in these crucial games.
Yeah, and I saw that. But I think the thing for me with San Francisco is the factor that they were home. Chicago's a hot team, and the way that Purdy was able to move the ball, and they just would not quit. Particularly when you guys like Kittle didn't play, and there's so many other things. You saw how McCaffrey still bust them up. And I still thought, even and maybe not now because what you mentioned about defense, but I also thought that San Francisco could be a dark horse
Mm-hmm.
as far as moving up, at least making it. They may not win it because of their defense, but they may be worthwhile looking at. Because I saw them and I watched them play the Rams earlier in the year and was looking around like, what the hell is going on? But I like the way that they're playing. So I was impressed by last night. Plus, two, I think I was really more excited that they got the Bears because I needed that pick. But anyway, that's
Yeah,
for
me, you and
another
I
show.
both picked that pick last week, and
The only two,
yeah, yeah,
and I was like,
yeah. I kind of figured that they would win because when I was watching the game, it was like, okay, I can see where San Francisco can stop the Bears, but I can't see the Bears stopping San Francisco. And
man,
so when I turned it off at 35-35, and I fell asleep and I woke up and I saw what happened at the end of the game. I'm like, okay, I see what they did here. And the Bears fought. They fought, try to get back. But one of the things I noticed too, when if you can get Caleb Williams rolling to his left and him trying to throw the ball, he's gonna either throw it away or throw it where the receiver can't get it. He's gonna be a missed throw. But if you push him to his right, he has a better chance of making those plays like that. But if you push him to his
yeah,
left, it's real hard to do that, especially with right-handed quarterbacks. It's real hard
yeah,
to get that ball off.
yeah. Well, it's what people call kind of what they call cross body
Yeah,
passing.
yeah,
And it takes because with that, a lot of times when you quarterback like that, what you have to do, you really have to come, like I told you before, you have to have almost to a standstill where you're set,
yeah,
and then you have to literally push your body, your arm all the way across your body to make sure that the ball gets there. Because the way you're coming across your body, you play quarterback, most times doing that, the ball's gonna fall short.
yeah.
You don't have precision. But if you come all the way across with force, you just can get the ball there. But there's the reason why I mention this is because there's only a few that can actually do that well.
Yeah. Let's go to the NBA, man. And I'm looking at San Antonio, and they are 3-0 against OKC, and they're a problem for them. You can see it. We saw the game during the holidays. They are a problem for the Thunder, and I don't know if they can remedy it. I was talking to Pop about this when I was watching the game and on the phone with him, and I was like, it's like the Spurs aren't afraid of them, and they match up really well with them, and they can't do anything with that big fella in the middle. They can't do anything. They don't have an answer for him. And if they line up and get in the playoffs against the Thunder, ooh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if they're making passing at this particular point, but they got some time to really kind of figure it out. And when you look at the NBA standings, the Lakers aren't looking too hot. There's a lot of rumblings going on there. You have the Thunder, who are leading the Western Conference, followed by the Spurs, the Nuggets, Lakers number 4, the Rockets are number 5, and the Timberwolves losing 2 straight. They are holding on to number 6. The Suns winning 3 straights, holding on to number 7. The Warriors are in trouble at 16-16, and they won't make the trades. It seems like they don't want to make the trades. There are rumors of who they really want or who they want to be going after before the trading deadline. But it comes down to, in my opinion, that they got to get rid of Draymond Green. They got to get rid of him. And I don't know what other team would want him. Going to the East, the Pistons are still holding on to that number 1 spot, followed by the Knicks, who are winning 2 in a row. They're number 2, followed by the Celtics. They're getting it together. The Raptors, which I was watching the game with them I think last night. And your boy, you mentioned last week. Um,
Scotty Barnes.
yeah, yeah, he just went off. He went off in that game. And so I was like, man, I'm trying to figure out because when you said that, I'm like, let me look at Toronto for a little bit. And then Scotty Barnes was just going off and nobody could stop him. At this particular point. I don't know if Toronto want to get rid of him or trade him for anybody the way he's been playing. And then you have them at number 4. You have the Magic at number 5, the Sixers. I watched them. Joel Embiid came back, but he probably should be sitting out at this particular time. He's not effective. You have the Heat, you have the Cavaliers, and you have the Bulls, who are 15-16, and also the Hawks. The Hawks and the Bulls are on losing streaks. The Hawks have lost 6 in a row. I'm not sure what they're going to do. The Bulls have lost 1 in a row. Had a chance to watch them, I think, on Christmas Day. And they don't have any stars on the team, but they got mad at Antetokounmpo because he, dunked at the end of the game. But he was making a statement, hey, I'm on a team that's losing. I'm going to do whatever I can. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. But I think it had also to do with, hey, I was trying to get on your team too, and you guys didn't want it, so I'm gonna dunk it right. I'm gonna show unsportsmanlike conduct on you just to show what you're missing.
Wow. You're absolutely right. I mean, you're spot on that. It's been crazy. OKC, like you said, they need to find a remedy for Wemby. When you have De'Aaron Fox at the point guard, it helps a lot too. And these younger guys are really starting to come up. But when I wanted, if they were to meet in the playoffs, I think the edge OKC would have maybe from a
Experience.
coaching experience in coaching. And right now it's cute because Wemby's playing real well. But I think overall, it's good to see competition like this, though. I really like the competition. I really like a team like that will come up and say, "Hey, we're not afraid of you." And not only we're not afraid of you, we beat you 3 times. And I know that when you mentioned the SGA, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander said, "Hey, we got to find a way. We got to figure this out because you can't say that team's bad when they beat us 3 straight."
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. The other teams that I think, as you mentioned, Toronto has been a team that a lot of people are not talking about. I think that says a lot there too. But there have been some amazing other players too. Like just when you think the Joker gave you everything he had, 56, 15, 14, whatever the hell it was. My God. Versus Minnesota. It's like, wow. He is the truth, bro. He is the truth. And Durant has been getting hot lately with Houston and with Thompson. They've been playing some good ball. And you get to see Dylan Brooks still frustrating the hell out of LeBron. It is a sight to see. This is Dylan Brooks is like he don't care, man.
No, he
He
doesn't.
does not care.
He doesn't.
Which is fine. I mean, you either love him or hate him, and I know he frustrated LeBron, but he playing his butt off. I will say that. His way he goes about it, his attitude is a little bit off. But he when it comes to facing that man and really want to put real work, he can play. So I like the competition in the NBA right now because there's no one real team. You could say OKC besides San Antonio still kind of floats through, but there's no one other team that you go, man, they are dominant and they're taking over. And this is the team that we know are going to win. So I think it's going to be very competitive down the road. So see what happens.
I heard Steve Kerr say, "Hey, we're a dying dynasty," and I wouldn't even define the Golden State Warriors as that. The dynasty is done, and I'm thinking, okay, you have Steph Curry, you have him probably for maybe 2, 3 more years. What can you put around him at this particular point to kind of keep this going or stay relevant in the Western Conference? Because I'm looking at the players they're picking up. I'm looking at the players they're trying to develop. And it's like, you guys need to make a move. And you need to make a move real soon to get another prominent player on that lineup. Because we all thought your boy Butler was going to come in and just bust everything up. We're waiting for, Buddy Hield to do something. And they did it in the playoffs, but it's like you guys aren't stepping up when you need to step up and make this team go. And they added you guys, and now you got the player, I forget his name, from Boston, the big
Horford, yeah, Horford.
Walford, and it's like you guys aren't looking too good. And then I guess the Clippers heard me say that they were old, and they're starting to play a little bit now. Well, I see that in a short spurt at this particular point. I don't see that like long term because they do have some problems. But what do you feel like those teams need to try to get over the hump? Because now you're seeing the younger teams like the OKCs, the Minnesotas, all these younger teams, the Spurs, to really taking over and saying, this is our conference now. What do these more seasoned teams need to do to get back in the mix to even challenge these teams anymore?
Well, I think it's case by case basis, right? On the teams. I'm gonna go directly what you mentioned before the Golden State. I think Steve Kerr has to just shake that lineup up because if you go out and you try to trade for somebody, name me one player right now. Of course, they say Giannis, but I think Giannis will be a fish out of water, kind of similar to what Damian Lillard was when he came over to Milwaukee. You got to be able to adapt with a team like that. You got to be able to play your role, let these other guys do what they do. I think Jimmy Butler was phenomenal when they picked him up because he was really kind of frustrated and angry. I think he'll be the same way in the playoffs. But seriously, in regards to what Golden State can do, I think Steve Kerr just needs to. Go down, look at his lineup. First of all, people are getting older, and as you said, you got to play Kaminga, bro. He has to play. Trace Jackson Davis is a baller. You put him. I dare you to send him to Toronto. His whole career is gonna change because he's a baller. I think you just kind of got to go out there and look at playing younger guys. I remember I saw something, was watching the gold medal piece about the last Olympics about men's basketball, and Tony Parker was talking about how they saw him young. He's playing Olympic basketball early, and then when he got to San Antonio, when Popovich picked him up, he thought he was gonna learn from the veterans, A.B. Johnson, all them dudes. Dude said, "No, we need to see what you're gonna do right now." He said, "Game 4 of the season, they put him out there. He would start." You gotta put dudes out there, bro. You gotta put him out there because where Golden State is right now, if you're not gonna make the trade, I thought they was gonna make trades to get rid of Kaminga and bring other people on. But since you kept him, you gotta play him. And maybe what you do is you reduce other people's minutes. So they get more of a familiarity. I think their biggest issue was last year and is going into this year is the factor that you didn't let these guys play enough early on. Kaminga did, but not Trace Jackson Davis. You didn't put these guys out there, but then when comes playoff time, the postseason, you need them, and then you got to hurry up and run out there because somebody got hurt when Steph got hurt. So you got to let these guys get some time, take your lumps, and I think that's their biggest issue. But some of these other teams, like you look at teams like you, I'm surprised Boston's doing what they're doing,
Yeah,
considering they are like that too. But you in Memphis, we don't know one day they are, one day they're on. But I think you got to really look at your roster because if you're not gonna make change, you got to look inside. And I think, as I said before, to get off this last point on this one, people wonder what's wrong with the Lakers. You got LeBron coming off the bench, whatever you're gonna have him doing what you're doing. But the problem with the Lakers is I don't think that they are a dog and pony show. What I mean by that is you got Luka who looks real good. He might give you some buckets and everybody gets excited. Austin Reeves, they run up and down. They got like a Showtime type of effect, but they don't play defense and they don't go to the core characteristics of what's happening. And with the way that they're made, that team is made up right now, they're not built for a championship. And my last point, as I mentioned before, on this is the factor that I believe that's why the Bucks family made after the trade was made, the Bucks family started writing on the wall
yeah.
and said, "We can't win with this team. The way it's comprised right now, we can't win. So guess what we're going to do? We're going to take our $6 billion, what the hell it was, and move forward." People, oh no. I said, do you think the Bucks family would hold a basketball team, own it for 40 plus years because they was trying to make money? That's not ownership. They were holding on to it because they were winning championships, which built on the equity inside the team and made them more valuable. But if Jenny Buss, as she has done for years, takes a look at this team after they made the trade and everything goes, I don't see it. If she walked away, they didn't have to walk away. I know other teams were sold, but this franchise is, we know, let's go back to Wilt Chamberlain, Jabbar, Kobe, Shaq, all that. They always find ways to win. Magic, I mean, let's go down the line. Picking up guys like Bob Mack, I could go all day long with the Lakers. But I really believe with the number of championships that they have won over the years, I think their family collectively looked at this franchise and said, this is not it. And why are we just hanging around when we don't need to do this? We got all we need. They got a hell of a lot of money for the siblings. Let's ride off on into this in this outer space, and I think that's what they did.
Yeah, I think, and you and I talked about it, that it's like this is as high as we're gonna get. This is as high as it's gonna go. Let's just, salvage what we have right now. And, it's not gonna get better than this, and let's sell this team. And when we discussed it, it was like we understood it. Laker fans probably didn't understand it, but we understood what they were looking at. And when you have a favorite franchise or you're a fan of a team, you don't understand sometimes that teams are looking and they're strategizing long term of where this organization is going to be. Do they have the energy to do it? If they want to put their money somewhere else, that's going to make them a lot more money and give them that gratification. And so I just felt that they looked at the not only the Lakers but the landscape of the league and said, you know
Mhm.
what, this is the best decision for this particular family to let this franchise go. And I wish other owners would do that in the National Football League and also in the NBA. Talking about Nick fans and Nick ownership and Dallas ownership, and teams that are really gonna make money regardless. But those fans deserve a championship, and these owners don't care. They make money anyway. That's why they have those meetings with all those owners together. They're all making money, no matter
Mhm.
where they
No,
land up. They all make money. They share in
yeah.
that. So they really don't care. Well, sometimes some of these teams don't care if they win the Super Bowl or not. There's a tax write-off, and they make money anyway.
Yeah, you're right. And I think back too, and I know this is showing me to be the old fogey that I am, but Dr. Jerry Boss bought that team in 1979
Yep.
with a young man by the name of Magic Johnson that
Johnson.
was 6'9". They said you can't play point guard till he showed different. 1979.
Yeah, it's a hell of a run for ownership.
Yeah.
Hell of a run
And
for
they've
ownership.
been winning ever since. They've been winning. They've been getting their championships, making great decisions, bringing in the Phil Jacksons, right? Even you have Kobe and Shaq in there, but you needed to have a mind, somebody that could show them how to win. Just over the years, you even signing with bringing LeBron in, right? And you can say what you want to, pseudo with Anthony Davis for 1 year, whatever, but still, they made transitions, and that's what the Lakers would do over the years, right? Lose to Boston, Kevin McHale destroying you. So what you go out and do? We need somebody to stop McHale. Well, let's go get Michael Thompson, right? Who played with him in college and knows how his game is. And now we get back on track. Bring a guy back in, Spencer Haywood, Bob McAdoo, back in the day. So they making moves in order to offset what they had to do. And that's why we said, even when you think about it this way, that era of Magic and Bird. I know we all way off the thing, but we here. But Magic and Bird, when they came in, you go from the late 70s, late 79, 80, up to like early 90s, there were only seven franchises that won NBA championships. And that's because certain front office personnel made quality decisions.
Yeah,
It wasn't the budget. And you go back and check that. That's a hell of a stat. Seven out of the whole league over that time period.
yeah. And I remember them signing Magic to a 25-year contract, which was unheard of. Yeah, they anticipated having Magic from 1979 to 24.
Yeah.
So
Last year. Last year.
not 2024, but
14. Yeah,
2024.
4 years.
Yeah, for
Yeah, yeah,
25
yeah.
years.
25 years. Yeah.
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 So, I'm still with that thing too, where if somebody mentions the 70s, I think it's 30 years ago, and it's not.
Seems like it though, don't it?
It seems like it, but it's not. It's way over 30 years.
I'm like this because I think we were talking about that before, where I said, "Do you realize?" And I know this we way off here, but we try to give you some entertainment value too. That I thought about this. 40. It's been 45 years since Roger and Zapp dropped more bounce to the ounce.
Yeah.
45 years,
And I remember when it first came out. That's scary. That's scary.
and it's still banging.
Still
45
bang.
years ago,
Still bang.
and
Like
I'm
some
like,
music that comes out and they said, this song is 40 something years old. What? You know,
yeah,
yeah.
yes.
Anyway, let's move on to college basketball. Arizona keeping the number one spot, followed by Michigan, Iowa State at number three. Now, Iowa State and Arizona have 12-game winning streaks, and Michigan has 11-game winning streak. You have UConn at number four, followed by Purdue, Duke, Gonzaga at number seven, Houston. We still can't believe Houston is at number eight, but
And
they're
that's cool.
yeah,
Keep them right
yeah,
there for the
keep them
rest
right
of the
there.
damn year. I
That's
might
gonna
get
keep
my
them hungry.
title
That's gonna
because
keep
they're
them
gonna be
hungry.
mad.
Yeah. Michigan State number nine, BYU. If you haven't checked out BYU, that's a great team. They're going to be nobody's going to want to see them in the tournament. They're at number 10, Vanderbilt number 11, and my Tar Heels at number 12, followed by Nebraska. We talked about Nebraska last week. They're a team to watch also. Alabama, you don't want to see them. They're number 14, and Texas Tech. Those are some solid teams in the top 15. Other places go top 10. We go top 15. Give those guys some love too. We don't go through the whole ranking system. But some of the games that are coming up, most notable that I'm seeing that's coming up is on Friday with Michigan at USC. That's going to be
Mhm.
a heck of a game. I'm looking forward to see that. And Michigan State and Nebraska. We mentioned both those teams in the top 15. And so that should be a good game. I want to see how Nebraska can get tested by Michigan State because Michigan State is
Mhm.
steady. They take on the personality of that coach. They play really tough. The guys don't really kind of wow you as far as, you're looking at them and like, wow, that's a heck of a player. They just
Right.
play steady and tough and they play hard nosed basketball. And I'm wondering how Nebraska will fare against them.
Yeah, no doubt. I agree with that 100%. Nebraska's playing really good basketball, but we know what level Coach Izzo is going to have Michigan State, especially on the road. It's going to be a very tough matchup. Some of the other matchups you might want to look at too is January 7th, Vanderbilt versus Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a really good game there too. Something else to check out on January 13th, Iowa at Kansas. Iowa, Kansas. Kansas is still trying to find their way a little bit. Iowa been playing pretty good ball. I think like Iowa State trying to take over the state right now, but still it should be a good game to watch on January 26th. This is a game you want to see. I know you'll be excited about it, Puma. Arizona at BYU.
I will. That's a game that I want to watch. That's a tournament game right there. That is a tournament.
Yeah. And then one other one too, January 30th for giggles. January 30th, Michigan versus Michigan State.
That should be a good rivalry game. I'm looking forward to the Big Ten tournament also with these teams.
Yeah.
This is going to
I'm
be.
looking, yeah, other thing too, got to give a little, even though it's a little off center, a little kudos to Miami of Ohio. That team is 13-0 in basketball, Miami of Ohio. And they've been playing really good basketball. They're kind of like no-name players. Certain people don't know who they are. But I haven't seen them this strong, perhaps, since back in the day when you had Ron Harper. When he ran through there and caused a little hell, raised a little hell in the tournament before he went on to the pros. So kudos to the Miami, I guess, Red Hawks, as they're called now.
All right. We're going to skip what's on your mind, son. We're going to go
All
our last second shot. We've been talking a lot in this episode, so we can skip that one. And it's the last one of the year, so we can skip it now. So, what's your last second shot, man?
I had two here, and then you took one. No, I'm just playing. My last second shot is this. I said it earlier. I'm gonna say it again, and I was joking, but I wasn't joking. I remember it like it was a few weeks ago. Dallas Cowboys versus Chicago Bears. And I was watching the game. My brother and I were talking. And I looked and I saw the way that Chicago was playing. Caleb Williams was having a good game. They was moving the ball. And they just kept running up and down on Dallas. And I said, this looked like a playoff team. My brother go, Chicago? I said, Chicago. He said, it might just be one off. I said, nah, man. Something about it when and it wasn't that they were amazing and they were doing so many great things, but they showed a confidence that I had not seen in a long time. And I go, I know it's Dallas, Dallas can go up and down, but I said, man, if this team really came around, they could make a run. And then slowly but surely, win a couple games here, may lose one, and they kept going. They seemed like they got on fire. And the reason why I want to talk about them on the last shot is I gotta say, you gotta give kudos to Ben Johnson, the head coach, man. Because, and I know people are kind of down right now up on the general manager, but that was one hell of a hire. And even if they don't win the Super Bowl, how far they go, Chicago folks, I ain't saying about your Super Bowl tickets, but you gotta be proud, bro. Y'all been down for a minute. This is I'm telling you, with all of the stuff with changing quarterbacks and pointing fingers and not doing the right thing, I think it really starts and begins and ends with Ben Johnson. So kudos to him for doing that too. And then I read something else that made me smile along the same lines with the Chicago Bears. I didn't know my man was over there too, making some things happen. Eric Bieniemy is over in Chicago, quietly just in the shadows, which he does his best work. Okay, he may not be your head coach, but he damn sure need to be on your coaching staff. Because when I read that, I said now a lot of stuff makes sense as
That
to
running
why
game.
collect. Yeah, and I said, man, I love that dude, man. He may not be my head coach, but I want him around because he can make things happen. So just collectively how Ben Johnson put that together, that staff, how they're moving forward, the offensive mindset and genius says a lot. And then you also just look over and see the struggles that the Detroit Lions are having. Kind of makes a lot of sense when you kind of put that all, wrap it all up and put it in a bow.
Yeah. My shot goes out to Notre Dame. Listen, stop being big babies. Stop ending your series against USC and all this, and join the damn conference. You being a big baby trying to make a lot of headlines, because you're not in the playoffs. You wouldn't take a bowl game. You don't want to win a bowl. You don't want to play in a bowl game because you took your football and go home. You know what? If you're not a Notre Dame fan, we don't miss you. We don't miss you in the bowl season. We do not miss you. You're gonna get blown out anyway. So we don't miss you. We don't miss you. Join the damn conference and stop being babies, please. This is embarrassing. It's beyond embarrassing the way you're acting at this particular point. That's our show. We'll see you next week.